Richard Marx, how you doing?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Good. We're super excited. You're coming back to Sacramento. We're
Yeah.
really excited about that. You got a new song out that I absolutely love and a new album on the way. And your memoir is coming out in paperback now. So we got a lot of fun things to cover here today. Let's start with the show. I was pulled up the concert list and I saw that Sacramento is at the top. Is that because you've played other shows or are you actually launching your tour in Sacramento?
No, I finally came back to touring early this year in March.
Okay.
And I did about, I think, 8 or 10 shows between Denver and Florida. And then I ended with 3 nights at this incredible theater outside of Nashville called the Franklin Theater.
Okay.
And so I did my first run post-COVID there on those shows. And then a couple weeks ago, I played, and then I had a pretty long break because you probably have heard this from other artists that we're all like trying to slot our shows that got pushed back 3 and 4 times.
Sure.
So everybody's sort of fighting for slots, and so that means that sometimes there's these breaks in between. It was that first run of shows was so euphoric for me, and then I felt like it was just such a tease because then I just couldn't play now for a couple more months.
Yeah.
And then I played I'm laughing because I played a couple weeks ago in Hawaii. I played 2 nights in Honolulu and 1 night on Maui because that's my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the hardship that is my life.
Well, I'm sure it was a hardship I know we're still officially in COVID, but were you out on the road before everything hit and you had to just come to a screeching halt for quite a while or what?
Oh, yeah. Like everybody else. In fact, I just put out a new album called Limitless in February of 2020.
Okay.
And the album was blowing up. It was doing really well. We had a song called Another One Down that was going up the charts. And I was in New York actually doing Kelly and Ryan. And the day after that, I was supposed to go to Europe to start my European tour. And that's when the numbers in New York kind of started to go up and it started to become a real thing. And so I called my agents and managers and said, should we wait on this for a minute? Because the numbers in Europe were blowing up. And so we said, let's just kind of like pause it for a second. And the next thing we knew, we shut everything down and like everybody else did. And it was, I'm sure like everybody, like no matter what you do or what your personality type is, being locked down and going through that, we all shared some version of what the hell is happening, what does this mean, like when am I ever going to go back to work? And it was longer for those of us who perform.
Mm-hmm.
We like people started to go back to work little by little. We were the last ones to get to be able to get up in front of an audience. So
the big shows, sure.
Yeah. So but look, I by the same token, I'm really grateful that I went through the lockdown in the way that I did. I'm very blessed. I know a lot of people got divorced. It only made my wife Daisy and me closer, and we had, there were really some beautiful things about being away and being home and being quiet.
Yes.
But that said, after 2.5 years, like I'm ready to go back and get back to it.
I bet so. When you were off, is that when you put the new album together during that time off?
Yeah, most of the album. Yeah.
Okay, so I listened to the first song. I don't know that we can hear anymore until I think September 30th, the new album drops.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So the first song I really love, it's about, heartbreak, obviously. Let me get the official title. Same Heartbreak, Different Day. And even though it's about heartbreak, which is something that what's more difficult than that? That's just extremely, extremely difficult. But as you're listening to the song, it has a warmth and a comforting to it. It makes you feel better. Was that intended? It just has this warmth and comforting feel. Even though you're singing about heartbreak, I feel like everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, exactly. And really not anything is going to be okay for the guy in the song. It's there's even a line, I don't know how to be okay. Like,
right.
But there's something, that's a great question because as a songwriter, I've always envied songs that are dichotomous, that are lyrically a certain feeling and a certain emotion that might be really heavy, but then the music is sort of like you find yourself bopping your head to it, like you're enjoying.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that was the mission with this song. Okay. it really started as a piece of music. I had the chorus melody in my head, and then I wrote it with my son, Lucas.
You did? Wow.
Yeah, Lucas is a really talented songwriter, producer, artist, and he's done stuff with Katy Perry, and his career is
Wow.
doing really well.
Yeah. Wow.
And we brought in a friend of ours named Michael Jade, who's also a really talented young songwriter and producer who I've worked with, and Lucas is pals with. And so we wrote the music, and Lucas created the track right in his bedroom. That's where we make records now, and it's in kitchens, bedrooms.
That's so great. Yeah.
And then I honestly, the sign of a really great collaboration is when you don't remember who came up with what. And I don't remember which one of us started to sing Same Heartbreak Different Day or whatever, but then, oh, okay, well, we're going to work our way back to tell the story. And then it was just sort of like a race to finish each other's sentences. And it was an easy song to write. And I just love it. I've listened to it, obviously, between recording it and mixing it 1,000 times. And I'm not sick of it, which is usually a good sign.
Yeah, I listened to it a number of times over the weekend. I really love it. And I'm wondering, is that kind of a preview of the feel for the entire new album that's coming out at the end of September?
No, it's yes and no, in that the album is a pretty unique, and if I dare say, ambitious project that I've toyed with for a long time. And it's essentially 4 5-song EPs that create the album. It's a double album. It's 20 songs.
Wow.
And it's 5 pop songs that are kind of in the vibe of Same Heartbreak Different Day.
Okay.
5 rock songs that are everywhere from like pretty heavy rock, like the hardest rock songs I've done in 20 years.
So harder than Satisfied?
Oh, harder than that.
Yeah.
Those were pop rock songs. These are rock songs.
Okay.
I wrote one with my son, Jesse, who's an incredible guitar player and rock artist and rock songwriter. And I wrote one with Matt Scannell from the band Vertical Horizon. That's wait till you hear it.
Yeah,
and then
I'm sure.
And then 5 songs that are more modern country. So one of them I wrote with Keith Urban, one I wrote with Darius Rucker, a couple I wrote by myself. And then 5 beautiful ballads. The first track on that collection I wrote just a couple of years ago. I wrote the song with Burt Bacharach, the legendary Burt Bacharach.
Wow. So we'll get to experience all the new music and all the great stuff from the past as well when you come to Sacramento. We're looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'll do little snippets of stuff to kind of give you a taste of the whole album. But I'm really excited for September to come, because this album, which is called Songwriter, is truly a labor of love, and unlike any other album I've ever seen anybody do, where you cross multiple genres,
Well, congrats on the success of the memoir as well. I know that's a New York Times bestseller, and now it's in paperback form, right?
Yeah, we got to paperback. That's like, I don't exactly know what the correlation would be to, I guess it would be like if your movie was a big enough hit that it came out on video,
Sure.
And so, yeah, the book did really well, and we're in paperback now. And, I got to say that the act of writing the book was really fun for me. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed being creative in a totally different way than I ever had before. But it was a little bit of a nail biter in that, I've put out enough albums now where I always want the album to do well. I'm always anxious about what people are going to think of it. But I also know that it's not my last album. Like, I'm going to keep putting out albums. And
Sure.
But with a memoir, like, this is probably it. Like, this is the one. This is and so there was a little added expectation and nervousness about it. So when people responded to it the way they have, it was an elation that was different than when a song is a hit or something, because it's really me. It's like really, it's not I'm singing or like putting myself in a situation in a song. It's like me. It's as if you and I were sitting having a martini and I was telling you a story. And if you're bored by that story, that's going to bum me out. But if you go, dude, that's like one of the coolest stories I've ever heard, that's going to make me feel great, right?
Yeah, it's your whole unfolding. I know a little bit about your story about, I mean, you've got so many great stories from Lionel Richie to Kenny Rogers to Barbara
Yeah.
Streisand, and we could keep going. I'm assuming they're all in there. And the story
Yeah.
about, meeting your wife, Daisy, and the calendar story. And I'm guessing all of that's in there.
Everything's in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was, even to this day, pretty much on the daily now on social media, somebody will tag me and they'll post a picture of them reading my book, or my book sitting next to a beer on the beach, or just saying, "Hey, I'm loving your book." And there's something extra special about that. So I've been so grateful that people have embraced the book, and that now we're in paperback, so more people will check it out. And it's been awesome.
That's called Stories to Tell, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So we can get the paperback now. The album, for the full album, we got to wait till September 30th, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
But
the
we're
name
going
of
to
the
release,
album?
the name of the album is Songwriter.
Mhm.
But I think we're going to be putting out a track from each of the genres leading up to the album. So Same
Okay.
Heartbreak, Different Days out now. We're going to let that breathe for a minute, and then we'll probably come with the lead track from the rock EP, which is called Shame on You. And then the back rack song, which is called Always, will probably be featured as well. And I think we're still just debating on what the lead track is going to be from the country collection, but I think it'll probably be this song I love that I wrote with Keith Urban called One
Right.
Day Longer. So all four of those tracks will be out before the album comes out, but we're going to sort of space them out and let people have a chance to sort of digest them.
Mentioning country, I love the Kenny Rogers story. That's so good. And
Yeah.
then you co-wrote, you kind of wrote Crazy, right? I mean, that was
Yeah.
the whole story with that. I'm sure we'll let people get that in the memoir, because that's just, that's a wonderful story. We really look forward to seeing you here in Sacramento. So happy that you're coming back next Wednesday, July 27th. I know people can jump on Ticketmaster and get the tickets for Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. Anything else to share about the night, the upcoming show, and that something that, we can expect to enjoy together?
Well, I mean, the only thing I do mention from time to time is that even though I've been doing this solo acoustic show for years, and the people who have seen it now really understand it. I know that there are some people, I would probably be on this list. The people I've seen perform solo acoustic over the years, even if they're really talented, for the most part, those shows are slow and sort of like the guy or the girl's up there going, "Okay, this is what I was going through, and I wrote this next song." And I'm like, I don't care. I want to be entertained. Well, my show is nothing like that. My show is like a party. Even though it's just me in the audience, they realize within 2 songs that this is an uplifting, fun. I tell stories, I tell jokes. I'm a goofball. I play all the hits and stuff that people want to hear.
Sure.
But I also love that.
But let's make it a long night.
I can do it. Yeah, it is a long night.
There's a number of them.
Night, but it's a long night because people we don't want it to end, and people
we're getting our money's worth and then
songs
some. Yeah.
That I just hope I can. Sometimes they yell out the most obscure album cuts from the 80s or 90s, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try. Like, I'm supposed to remember the lyrics to this song, but we have so much fun, and I have a martini on stage, and it's just like a party. It's like a bunch of people came over to my house, and I told stories and sang songs. So I encourage people to come to the solo show because it's really different and it's pretty special.
Awesome. Well, I've been playing your music since 1987. Really looking forward to the new album. How many is this? Is this like 5 or so or more? How many albums is this now?
Oh, no, way more than that, man. Like, I don't even know the number. I should probably look that up, but I'm going to guess this is probably my 12th album, 13th.
Wow.
Album.
Yeah. Well, congrats on all the success. You just keep bringing
I'm
us
really
the hits.
Old. I put out a lot of records.
Yeah. No one would guess that. You look fantastic. What do you like? Totally plant-based? What are you doing?
Yeah, we've been plant-based for a long time. We live in California. We get sun. We I'm really into being outside and exercise and have a healthy lifestyle. Aside from the occasional martini or tequila, that's about it.
Yeah, you got to have a little bit of that, right? Everything in
Gotta have fun.
moderation on that. Sure. Well, we certainly look forward to seeing you coming back to Sacramento on the 27th. We'll get our tickets at Ticketmaster. Looking forward to the new album, September 30th. Guys, if you haven't heard the new song, jump online. Same Heartbreak, Different Day is a great song. And then the memoir, we can grab that now in paperback form and enjoy the whole unfolding of Richard Marx, the whole from start to, now. And we look forward to what's next and what's new coming up here. Thanks for the time today, Richard. And we look forward to seeing you in Sacramento.
Thank you, brother. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you.